Welcome back to my returning subscribers and new subscribers. Today we're going to make something a little different. We're going to make a dessert. It's going to be a homemade cheesecake as well as homemade strawberry topping that we're going to make to go along with our cheesecake. So to get started, I'm going to be making my pie crust for my cheesecake. That's going to be made out of graham crackers, and we use around 9 to 10 graham crackers. You're just gonna crush your graham cracker extremely well so you can spread it at the bottom of your spring roll pan. Now the crust is real simple. It's just graham cracker along with melted unsalted butter, and we're gonna use 1/8 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of sugar. That's it. This is real simple. So to make sure you crush your graham crackers the best you can, because you want everything to stir nicely as well as to coat the bottom of your pan. Now for the filling, I'm going to be using vanilla, Philadelphia cream cheese, salt, eggs, flour, as well as sour cream. And all ingredients I use will be in the description of this video. So to start off with the crust, I'm going to pour my melted unsalted butter as well as my 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to mix everything together extremely well. You don't want it to be too wet, but you don't want it too dry. You want it to be in between and enough to coat the bottom of your spring roll pan. Now to my spring roll pan, I've already sprayed it with non-stick spray, and then you put the foil around your pan to keep everything nice and moist so your cheesecake can cook evenly. Now if you don't have a spring roll pan, you can use like a 9x13 pan or a different size pan, maybe an 8x8, but it needs to be something deep enough to hold your cheesecake mixture, and your cheesecake will be square instead of round. But as you can see, I have all the graham cracker crust. I have it coated at the bottom of my pan. Now when you're done with it, you want to put it into your oven for 10 minutes at 350 degrees, and then you want to make sure you take your crust out. That's just to get it ready for the filling. So take it out and then let it cool down while you're making your filling. Now for my filling, as I stated earlier, we're going to be using 32 ounces of cream cheese. And you need to have the cream cheese at room temperature because it's going to make it easier to mix together. Now when you mix your cream cheese mixture up, you're going to gradually add your sugar as well as your flour and your salt. Now when you do that, you're going to mix all that up thoroughly, and then you want to gradually add your 6 eggs. So when you add your eggs, add 1 to 2 at a time. And I sped this part up, that way you didn't have to watch me mix this for several minutes, but you want to mix for 1 to 2 minutes. And you do not want to over mix it. So as you can see, I'm gradually adding everything in there while I'm mixing my mixture up for my cheesecake. So now I'm gonna gradually add my eggs, 1 to 2 eggs at a time. And if I did not mention it, I use 2 cups of sugar. So it does take quite a bit of sugar for the filling to be sweet. And I'm still gradually adding my sugar. And then I will add my egg as well. And then this is the longest part in making the cheesecake, is the actual filling that goes on the crust. This takes the longest. So if you need to go back in this video to see what I did, feel free to pause it or rewind it. And remember, everything used will be in the description. So now that I have all my mixture done, I'm going to stir in my sour cream. So for my sour cream, I use full fat sour cream, and it was 1 cup of sour cream, as well as 3 to 4 tablespoons of vanilla, because we want that nice sweet vanilla flavor all throughout our cheesecake. And when you do this, you just stir it in with a spatula or a spoon, just to gradually fold your sour cream and your vanilla in your mixture. So now that we've browned the bottom of our crust, you're gonna make sure you have a deep casserole dish or another pan, and then you take boiling hot water that you have boiling, and you want to pour it around your cheesecake spring roll pan, and that's to keep everything moist. So when you're gonna bake it, it's gonna bake more evenly. You will not have a lot of cracks in your cheesecake. So we're gonna pour our topping in, a cheesecake, and it's gonna go into a 325-degree oven. Now you're gonna bake this for 1.5 hours to 1 hour and 45 minutes. And the important thing is, do not open your oven. Keep it closed for at least 1.5 hours. And that's gonna keep cracks and different things out of your cheesecake. It's gonna make it bake more evenly. And of course, bake on your center rack. Now we have some slight cracking on the edges. That's no big deal. But you want it to hold together all throughout the cheesecake. And also, the color on your cheesecake is normal. You don't want it to be extremely dark, but that color is like a slight light brown on it. That's the color you want to see. Now we're going to make a strawberry topping for the cheesecake. And that's going to be real simple. We're going to use frozen strawberries, or you can use fresh strawberries, as well as lemon. You can use half a lemon, or you can use a whole lemon. And then I'm going to use 3 to 4 tablespoons of sugar. And then as a thickener, you want to use cornstarch and water. Around 1 cup of water and 1 to 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. And remember, with the cornstarch, to use the water, warm water. And remember to mix your cornstarch or your flour mixture, mix it in your cup first, and then gradually add it to your mixture that you're trying to thicken up. Again, on your cornstarch, make sure your water is warm so it can dissolve a lot easier. And this is gonna, any sauce you make is gonna thicken up. Now you can use flour, but I feel like if you use flour, sometimes you tend to taste your flour a little bit more than cornstarch, and cornstarch dissolves faster than flour does. So I'm gonna gradually add it, and then I'm gonna let my sauce thicken up. Now this is not a real sweet sauce, because you kind of want to play off your cheesecake, because your cheesecake is going to be so sweet. So the sauce is going to help offset the sweetness, but you can make the sauce sweet as you would like to, or you can make it less sweet. It's up to you. Now this is the around the consistency we want for our sauce. We turn the fire off at this one because it's gonna thicken up as it sits. And you also want to let your cheesecake rest for 45 minutes. Let it cool down, and then refrigerate it for at least 4 to 5 hours to let it set. Now for best results, you can actually let it set for around 8 hours, but you can't eat it once it sets for around 4 to 5 hours. It may be a little harder to cut, but this will taste even better the next day because those flavors are going to set in better. And you can also freeze this cheesecake for up to 2 to 3 months. Just make sure you have everything wrapped up real well. But my family really enjoyed this cheesecake along with the strawberry topping. I would definitely make this again, and I suggest you give this a try. I think you will like it. Like, subscribe, drop me a comment for what you want to see me make next. See you on the next video.